Hello again, this is Alex Kapitanakis for the Atlas Group, and today I want to talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds. You've heard the term. I'd like to talk about a little bit about it and just touch on it in a different angle that I think we're not really dealing with. That's called the Great Reset. You've heard the Great Reset before, but it means a lot of different things. And originally, the Great Reset was referring to the concept that the dollar as a world currency was going to cease to exist, which is still going to happen. But the Great Reset originally was that it would cease to exist and we would begin to use a different way to have world currency valued. Some people came up with the idea that we would have a basket of currencies, and those baskets would be given a certain value by the World Economic Forum and other world groups, and the US and Europe would begin to apply this new form of value and cease to use the dollar as the world currency. That was the original Great Reset. Then came, prior to the pandemic, at the time of the pandemic, there was something came up on a website by a man named Klaus Schwab from Davos, Switzerland, and that was with the World Economic Forum. And in that sense, in that website, they created this image of a declaration of what the Great Reset was going to be. And the Great Reset, according to their new ideas and new interpretation, was you would own nothing and you would be happy, which sounds a lot like communism. So the Great Reset became the World Economic Forum's version of it, and that also was the first time that the term Build Back Better was used, which you might know is the term for the Biden administration's economic policies. Essentially, the Great Reset was that you would start to own none of your own property, and the big companies that exist in the world were going to be doing the dictates of government, which they are, and they would get paid by government fiat money to do their will, and there's a switch that would be going on between you as the consumer giving profit to the big companies and you no longer being the consumer. You would only be the subject of the company. The company's main consumer was switching over to government. So government was now telling big corporations like Coca-Cola, Nike, BlackRock, big companies, that they would start making huge amounts of profit if they did the bidding of the government, if they did what was the right agenda of the government. Massive loads of free money were dished out to corporations. And by free money, I mean very, very low, 1% to 2% interest rate loans that they basically essentially was free money, because if you're getting 1% to 2% of a loan to a government or to a corporation, you're getting, and you're doing so much better than an inflationary rate of 7%, which is the declared inflation rate right now. You would be getting a free bank. You'd be getting money. And you might ask, well, how come you weren't offered free money? You weren't offered a loan for 1%, because you're not one of those people. You're not one of the mega groups. You're not Jamie Dimon. You're not Morgan Stanley. You're not one of the big companies that were getting free money. This free money is being created from the Federal Reserve. And in the European side, they're doing the same thing with European mega companies. Because what they're applying right now with this Great Reset is the greatest transfer of wealth that the world has ever seen. It would make the invading hordes envy, green with envy as to what they're doing to all the masses of people and small companies and small wealthy people that aren't worth billions of dollars but might be worth $1 million. They're being destroyed. They're being destroyed overnight. And that's happening with what they now call the Great Reset. When you're seeing all the free money being issued and no repercussions, you're seeing stocks that are worth, that under old ways of calculating their value, they should not be worth any money. Stocks that shouldn't be worth what they're worth now because the government keeps pumping them with free money. When you see that happening, then you've got to start thinking, is there more to this reset than I'm being told? You're not a tinfoil hat crazy person because they themselves wrote the book on the Great Reset. Go check out the website. Unless it's been stricken, unless it's been altered, they still tell you that by 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. They're still telling you that. They're telling you everything they want to do. They're telling you everything that's going to happen. You're not even going to own your own car. They'll be able to stop your car from working. Oh, wait a minute, they just did that. The American Democrat Party just voted in the last bill that had nothing to do with that to pay for all of the bills that we have in the government. They voted for a kill switch in your car, which means they can stop you from using your car whenever they want, if that ever gets underway for the new cars. So guess what? It's going to make old cars very valuable, won't it? But that's a different subject. But that goes to the reset. Government control over everything you own and everything you're going to do is coming, and it's coming faster than you can really understand. And if you don't take action now, you're going to be nothing but a victim of what's happening. This Great Reset, along with the Great Reset of money, and I touched on this on other videos, is going to be the social score. Are you considered worthy of being able to spend money in society? Are you one of the good people? By good people, I mean, do you follow the agenda of the ruling power? Do you speak your mind against the ruling power, which case you're going to be punished? And you get a social score. What that social score is will determine whether or not you get to live, you get to eat, you get to enjoy the fruits of society. Even if you've made it yourself, even if you've earned it, they are going to tell you if you deserve to own it, to spend it, even to live it. Whether you get a mortgage, whether you get a car loan, whether you were able to keep your money in a bank, is going to be determined by your social status score. And if you don't believe me, go and look at it. Go look for it. They're telling you exactly what they plan to do. Credit controls are coming. Social scores are coming. If they're almost here already. You've seen examples of it in New York City, where they don't even let you go into a restaurant if you're not one of the approved people. It's coming fast. It's coming. It's already in France. They want to put it in different places in Europe already. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's happening in Italy. It's happening in France. You see the protests, but it's happening. What can you do about it? Well, the biggest mistake we all make is that we have one jurisdiction, one place where we keep our valuables and our wealth. That's the biggest mistake. Because if everything you own is in one country, if everything you own is at one country, that country can change overnight. That country can turn into something that you don't recognize. And if you doubt me, just think about California. California should be could be its own country. California has all the riches, all the beauty that any country would die for. And you have more people are now leaving California than are coming. They don't even have U-Hauls to rent to leave the state anymore. If you think that can't happen all over the country, if you don't think that's happening, that could happen if they take over Florida, if they take over Texas, if those people that have left California start voting in the same way, if you don't think that's happening, then you're not paying attention. If a country changes overnight and you've got rule by collectives, then you've got nowhere to go. And if you think in terms of having separate places, go where you're going to be treated best. Go where there's more freedom. Go where it's better. Go where you have more privacy. Make a change now while you still can. Find like-minded people. Find people that will back up and help you research and help you prepare. Don't do this alone. Create networks with other people that are like-minded. Be part of a community of not people that expect the end of the world. Be part of a community that solves the problems. Be part of the people that find solutions to what's happening. You can't stop a government by yourself. You can't avoid what's happening by yourself. But you can make solutions for your own life. You can create your own central bank by having your own wealth stored in a different place. Store your wealth in something that doesn't depend on the whims of government. Store it in something that's been around for 5,000 years. Store it in gold. Store it in silver. Store it in a cryptocurrency. But store it outside of where they can control it from your hands. Store it where it could be private. Keep it in a safe jurisdiction. We could tell you right now, we're in Panama, and Panama is one of the safest, most stable jurisdictions you'll find. And we're a vault that is as stable as anything in Switzerland. But we don't have the same restrictions and controls that Switzerland has. We're freer than Switzerland. Go where it's going to be freer. Go where you can be independent as much as you can be. And find ways where you can take your wealth and protect it and spend it in a way that no one can stop you from spending it. So protect yourself so that you don't have a place. You're going to have a bank account, but you're going to have something where you don't need a bank account to spend. Once bank accounts say you can't spend more. You can't spend that maximum amount. You can't spend your money. Find ways where you can spend your money, where you can spend your wealth and buy your investments that you want to buy because you earned it. It's yours. Do something now because later it may be too late to do it. So take some action. Give us a call and let us show you some of the alternatives that exist. Thank you.